Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thursday, 8 a.m. I hope you guys are all doing wonderful today. I hope you've all been able to start your day off with a little bit of time outside, get some fresh air. Hopefully you can sleep with the doors open or windows open. All right, so we should be live on the Facebook. Just got to test the messaging. Messaging works. So yeah, good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. It's another beautiful day, another beautiful day in central New York. So if you live in the Syracuse area, you got no complaints. We've got beautiful weather. The world is starting to come back around slowly, but it seems to be coming back around. Hopefully, our economy continues to open. Hopefully, the protests remain peaceful. I think that people are protesting some very, real and important things. Unfortunately, I think that a lot of the protesting gets washed out by the acts of a few people who want to take advantage of any situation they can, and then we have rioting. So unfortunately, we live in a really, really strange time, and I think that for a lot of people, the best you can do is continue to work to grow personally, professionally, and how do you do that? And again, like I put together that list of my favorite books, or the books that I've read that I really like. And I just started another one late yesterday. And, it's the constant evolution, constantly teaching yourself, constantly seeking to find more is going to be one of those things that helps move you forward. Because if you aren't doing that, if you don't do that now, you know where you are. And what is it going to hurt if you learn something new, right? So a lot of times I seek out stuff to help, from like the more of like the mental training, and not like the voodoo weird shit, but just from the perspective of like, I want to be as durable as I humanly can be. Right. So like I always, Beth and I talk about me doing stupid stuff all the time in the endurance side of the world, because I'm always curious to know, how durable am I? And I want to push to see what those limits are. And that's why we sign up for things like Ironman, like ultra running. There's a burning curiosity, and the fear of the challenge and the fear of the failure, that I want to do this because I know it's going to hurt. I know it's going to be hard. People will say it's crazy. When I signed up for Ironman in 2015, I literally, and Mark Donnelly, a very good friend of mine, Mark Donnelly, I grew up with his boys, Craig and Ryan, right in the JD area. I say I grew up with them. The JD summer ball community took me in when I was 12. And I started playing baseball there over the summers. Fabius didn't have a program. My mom was in the hospital, and, for me, it was an outlet. And, we all need outlets at different points of our lives for different reasons. And, but Mark I will never forget Mark Donnelly. As one of my baseball coaches, I got asked to play in a different game for a different coach. And as a kid, you don't know any different. And Mark, I thought he was going to hit me with a baseball bat. He was super angry when he found out that I was there and that I was about to start pitching. And, we've stayed very close. We shoot messages back and forth. He's an Ironman finisher. He's done some pretty cool stuff in his day as well. And, he leads by example, and he's one of those people that I always look to. But when I first signed up for Ironman, or maybe like 2 days before, I was like, you know what? I should jump in the water and see if I can swim. And how Mark explained, the best way that I can explain how I swam was, Mark said that basically I looked like a whale coming up to breathe, because I would start to swim and I would sink, and then with my strong upper body, I would pull myself up out of the water, and then I'd go back down. He goes, you look like a whale or a dolphin trying to just swim through the water instead of being flat. And I could do that for all of like 20 feet. And I was like, you know what? I'm signing up for Ironman. And I think my goal was to do, my goal for Ironman 2015 was to do like a 1:17 for the swim. And I did 37, 35. So I did like a 1:12 or 1:15. So I absolutely, I accomplished that objective, but I was so nervous about the swim aspect. I hired a swim coach down in Ithaca, and this guy, let me tell you, he was one strange bird. But he was exactly what I needed. He was the opposite. I'm very analytical with a lot of stuff. He was the complete opposite. When you've got a strange man sitting there telling you to, when your hand goes in the water, you want to feel the water molecules between your fingers. Okay, well, you can't physically do that because water molecules are really small. But it was about that envisionment, right? And if that's even a word. So long story short, I learned how to swim, but I swam 3 times a week for 90 minutes to 2 hours a day, 3 times a week, to make sure that I could get to where I needed to be. And, I progressively saw my times improving. And, I was fortunate. I worked in a gym that had a pool. So, that was a challenge for me. Like, I'm still like, I could go jump in the res right now and swim for an hour and be fine, but I still don't like it, because there's always, like, to me, there's this weird fear of just laying face down in water. Just doesn't make sense to me. There's much better things you could do, and it's kind of boring because you can't see a lot. And when you're like me, you want to just, your mind kind of wanders. And 10 minutes into a swim, I'm like, okay, can we be done now? Like, this is just boring. So, but and that's life. Life is always going to be these little challenges that are put in front of us to force our hand. So we have 2 choices. We can either accept that challenge and work through it, or we can just kind of let that challenge get in our way, use that as a roadblock to, my life is so hard. Your life's not hard. Someone's life is 10 times harder than yours, and they pushed through. So you need to work on that mental capacity to be able to push through that. And that's like, if you were to take, the motivation, the goal setting, all of the stuff that I have on my list of books that I've read, and I'm going to do the podcasts that I listen to. I've got to clean up my podcasts because there's a bunch of junk in there that I don't listen to anymore. But from those 2 perspectives, from my podcasts that I listen to, the books that I read, the one largest takeaway is they all kind of circle around in some way, shape, or form you becoming a better version of yourself. And it's not a self-help book. I don't believe in self-help books. I believe that you have to earn everything that you want. If you want something, you have to bust your ass. You have to work harder than the next person to get that. And the reason is because if you're going to try to just skate by, that's what you're going to get out of it. If you just want to take the easiest path and the path of least resistance, then that's the lesson that you're going to learn is, okay, well, I can half-ass my way through this, and I don't see adversity. I don't see the struggle. So therefore I don't need to grow. But you're 100% wrong. You need to see the struggle. You need to have the adversity. You need to fight. You need to get up. You need to get knocked down. You know, one of my favorite lines in any of the Rocky films is in maybe Balboa, or I don't know, Rocky 35 or 37, whatever one it is, where he's talking to his kid and he says, it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. And we all have gone through, or something very similar to that. We've all gone through pieces and parts of our lives where we feel like we just absolutely can't get back up. But you have to know someone else just did. And now that person's going to move ahead of you. That person's going to be stronger than you. You need to get back up. You need to always, like, you're going to take hits. You're going to have a shitty day at work. You're going to have a bad workout. You're going to have bad news come down the pipe. Like, it's going to happen. You know, we always make these comparisons where we say, oh my God, cancer struck my family. That hit too close to home. Those type of things affect every single family. Now more than ever, because more than ever, Americans in general are significantly more unhealthy than they were 30, 40 years ago. So you're right. It does hit close to home. And when it does, sometimes it can hit very hard. And you have two choices. Yesterday's guest, Jill, was a perfect example of one choice. She was diagnosed with MS. She didn't just back down and say, well, I've got 3 kids and a husband, and I'm retired, and it's just the way it's going to be. No, this isn't just the way it's going to be. And even after going to Rio and winning 2 silver medals, it's not enough. It's, I want more, because I think that part of me is capable of a little bit more. If you've ever done a workout, or, and this is predominantly for like athletes who have done any type of like really hard testing, you finish that workout and you're exhausted, you're tired, you want to, we always say, like, you either feel like you're going to shit your pants or throw up. But 10 minutes later, you're like, you know what? I bet I could get 3 more watts, or I bet I could get my heart rate 2 beats a minute higher. When that happens, that's that competitive fire. And you can take that in every aspect of your life. So, long story short is, when you're faced with adversity, when you have something that acts as a roadblock, take a step back, look at the situation, don't react, don't blow your shit and go crazy. Take a step back, look at the situation, and be like, how am I going to push through this and knock this roadblock down? Because you can, if you focus on it. But if you just see a roadblock, like if I woke up, perfect example, we had curfew. I couldn't do my work. I couldn't go for my run or my walk before 6 a.m. What am I going to do? Well, I could just say, well, I guess 75 hard's out the window because I've got a roadblock in the way. No, you find a workaround. You find, okay, well, then I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to do this here, and I'm going to readjust. You wake up, my legs hurt. I'm really sore. What can I do? Go for a walk. Go in to the water and go for a swim. Go do something else. Oh, I went to buy meat at the grocery store, but they don't have any. What do? You can find a butcher. You can find a farmer. You can find another grocery store. Guess what? We don't live in a food desert. So when people tell me that, oh, I can't find food, that's because you're too damn lazy to look for food, and you're not working very hard, and you're looking for an excuse to stop instead of looking for a solution. And that's the biggest problem we face right now, is everybody wants a reason to stop. You don't need a reason to stop. You need to look at yourself and remember you have one reason to go, and that is for you and also for your family. So Maintain your motivation. When you face an obstacle, step back, take a moment, think about how you're going to push through and push on and push through it. And don't quit, because the day that you quit, the day that you stop fighting, is the first day that you stop living. It's 8:17, so have a great day. Again, the sun is shining. It's beautiful outside. Get outside, do something outside, be constructive, be kind to others, practice your social distancing. And Patrick Costello, thanks for tuning in. Anyone else? Everyone else? Whatever. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow.